I was born in 1956. I came over with my mother when I was 15 months old. Arrived in England in January 58.
So you've been in the UK since 1958?
About 60 years. Yeah, it's a long time. Yeah.
Do you have any childhood memories of Jamaica? Is it all?
No, I've got none whatsoever. I'm an Englishman. I've had all my education in this country. I've worked in this country. I've lived in this country. I'm an Englishman.
You've never left
I've never left the country. You know? 60 years.
In 1993, Junior received a letter with a Home Office stamp saying that he could now remain indefinitely in the United Kingdom. But when he tried to get this certified on his Jamaican passport in 2009, the Home Office asked in each of the previous 10 years to prove that he'd lived in the UK.
Then putting the onus on
Himself.
Junior
Or anybody.
to go, or anyone to go back 10 years. Who keeps, records for 10 years? You wouldn't think that you'd need to, because you've grown up all your life in this country.
Junior says that twice his application to update his passport with the correct visa information was rejected. In March last year, Junior and Doreen's mother was taken ill in Jamaica.
It was very bad, actually. And if I didn't see her, if I didn't go, I probably wouldn't see her alive again. So that's a choice I had to make. And my mum went, so I went. Ideally, like I said, I had all the evidence showing that I lived in the country and I was raised in the country, so I thought it would be no problem.
Their mum, Joyce, passed away in June, with Junior by her side. But when they got to the airport to return to the UK, there was a problem. Junior wasn't allowed onto the flight.
I was upset. I was virtually in tears, being quite sick, and it went from my sister consoling me, I don't know what happened. But I couldn't understand why, why.
Junior was stuck in a country alien to him. He applied for a returning visa, but the weeks turned into months. His mother's body was repatriated back to the UK, but he missed her funeral.
For him, being left there by himself, no immediate family, I could just imagine what he was going through, Must have been very, very hard for him. But we spoke every day and we kept trying to keep him upbeat, because you hear rumours that, this returnee resident thing can take up to 6 months. So he thought, I could be here for 6 months, It was hard. I think it's hard for the whole family. I think, when we tried to explain to the family why he wasn't there, they couldn't believe it. They just couldn't believe it. But as I said, we tried to keep him, make him feel like he was part of it, like he was there, and his kids, made sure that, he took lots of pictures and stuff like that, so...
In September, his local MP, Toby Perkins, contacted the Home Office on Junior's behalf, and he got his visa to return to the UK later that month.
It was an inhumane situation, and I know so many of my constituents were just disgusted on Junior and his family's behalf.
The stress that this has caused the Green family is very clear, and Junior says that he's had to leave his job because of the emotional and mental strain.
What people want is something that assurances that they can stay. This is their home. This is where they've lived for all these years, and we want to make it official, because we've done our part. We've helped England, get to where they are now, right? So it's time for England to help us now. And the Home Secretary, she needs to get on with it, because there's too many people out there who are just waiting for a knock on the door, or who was waiting for a knock on the door, to tell them that, even though you've been here 60 odd years, you've got to go back to a country that you don't even know.
Well, James Clayton reporting on one case there. Joining me now is the Foreign Minister of St Kitts and Nevis, Mark Brantley. Very good evening to you. You heard the apology from the Prime Minister today. Does that close the matter, do you think?
I don't think it closes it. I think what it does, it opens the dialogue now. The apology is welcomed, and I think it was well received in our region. But I think at the end of the day, there are other issues. What is the process now to deal with these?
What are the? I mean, okay, they're going to try and expedite it. They put in a task force. Is that enough, or is there?
Well, there are other issues, as this reporting that we've just seen here, the Green family. How do you compensate people for what they've endured? How do you deal with the very real trauma that families have had? You know, this debate has been talked about as if it's a part of an immigration debate. But remember, when the Windrush generation came here, they were not immigrants properly construed. They were coming as British subjects. They were coming from British colonies. We were all part of the British Empire when they came. And we would have come 40, 50 years ago to help to rebuild this country after World War II. And so I entirely agree that the contribution has been made by Caribbean-born British nationals, and it is now time for the UK government to do the right thing.
To treat them in a responsible way. Tell me this, as we watch that film, do you think if the Greens had been white, they would have had to endure that experience?
It's difficult to say. I don't know that this revolves around an issue of race. I think it is rather revolving around an issue of misplaced, perhaps misguided policy, or perhaps unintended consequences of this policy. I felt as I sat in number 10 today with my Prime Minister and with other Prime Ministers around the region, from the Caribbean region, I felt that your Prime Minister here, Theresa May, is perhaps best placed to deal with this fiasco, because clearly she was Home Secretary when many of the rules went into effect that now are having these disastrous consequences for so many people.
Some people are saying, as Secretary, she was pandering to populist opinion and being seen to be doing something about an issue of concern and didn't think it through. Would that be your take on what happened here, or are you more sympathetic to what the government was trying to do in the 2010s?
Well, I think as a politician myself, we understand that we try our best to frame policy. It doesn't always work. It doesn't always work as we intend it to work. I think I'm prepared to give the Prime Minister the benefit of her statements, to take her at her word, and to ensure, and we in the Caribbean intend through our High Commissioners here, to continue to push for this so-called Windrush generation to be treated fairly, to be treated properly, and to be given their rightful place here in the United Kingdom.
Because the other stage of this is that this has been talked about for a while. When did you first become aware of it? When did your team start saying, hang on, something's going on here? We've got people who are not really...
Based on the briefings that we've had, this issue has been sort of knocking about for more than 2 years.
Yeah.
So
they were told. They basically just thought, well, why... Yeah, what have...
Well, the truth is, I think, and this is one of the great, the tremendous value, I think, of the media, because I think the media here played a critical role in making this issue topical. It has come now on the eve of Shogun, our Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting, and so it's a major distraction, if you will, that this sort of dirty laundry, if you will, is being aired at this particular time. So I think the timing and the role of the media have been critical.
What do you think of the immigration debate in Britain now? I mean, we're meant to be projecting ourselves as a post-Brexit global nation, very not retreating from the world at all.
I think immigration, not only here in the United States and the rest of Europe, has become a very topical issue. Indeed, it's an issue even in the Caribbean, as we have intra-regional travel. What I will say is that in countries clearly have the right to determine who they let in and who they don't let in.